Wakey wakey! Hey guys, it's Somniac here. Yes, me, I'm actually speaking clearly in the video for once. But to be fair, I do speak in my videos, it's just my mic is stupid and it cuts out and just doesn't want to pick up. Anyways, I'm here today because I want to share a moveset concept I came up with for Marvel Rivals. And the character I have um made the concept for is Kurt Wagner, popularly known as Nightcrawler. He is someone that I've taken a interest in as both a character and because teleportation is just a badass power. If I'm being honest, um, teleportation is really cool, and honestly, for me, it's like up there on a superpower I would want to have like in the real world. Um, Fair warning though, I'm not super informed on Nightcrawler, and my I'm mainly familiar with him from X-Men '97. So as far as ability goes, that's where I'm gonna get my idea of him from. And if there are any major abilities or feats you think would fit him for the concept better or should be included, um, feel free to mention those in the comments. So, yeah, this concept I played into pre-existing abilities and ideas from other heroes with some of my own additions to help create a brand new hero for the game, um, and build up Nightcrawler as a playable character. Anyways, enough intro. Let's get into the concept itself. So personally, I do find teleportation to match well as like a support type of ability, and I could totally see him having like a life weaver type of pull ability from Overwatch, or like being able to move people around, allies or enemies, as if to embody really what it means to be a strategist, like move around people. That's just like you're just playing chess. Um, but for this concept, I'm gonna lean into him being a duelist. Nightcrawler's basic attack will consist of 4 sword splashes that are a little slow, but what matters is that despite his attack also acting as his melee, the fourth hit will do increased damage where he will get invincibility frames, iframes for um, less than a second in a teleport that goes right into a spinning attack. And that's where he will get a good chunk of damage if he goes through with the 4 hits. However, he also has his alternate fire where any opponents that are right in front of him, he will knock upwards with his sword, and it's similar to Wolverine's ult, but like on a smaller scale. And this will have a 7-second cooldown. As for Nightcrawler's passive ability, every 70 seconds, Nightcrawler will automatically essentially spot dodge any attacks coming at him for 4 seconds. So he will teleport in place, dodging any attack, whether it be like a laser that is continuous or shot by shot. He will dodge everything for 4 seconds. And the only attacks he cannot dodge are ultimate attacks, which include all of the above from Maximum Pulse to the Fists of Khonshu. So, despite this ability seemingly being broken, the downside to this is when he's teleporting, or I guess dodging, he will not be able to attack whatsoever. So, if there is constant attacks being done to him in those 4 seconds, he will come back just to, I guess, die, or just not really. He will not contribute damage wise in those 4 seconds. What those 4 seconds are meant to be is give him a chance to escape, or to stall, or not take damage. So that passive ability will have a 70-second cooldown, and um, if you really want to avoid or like finish the passive like quicker, you will be able to use his first ability, which is a close range teleport on an ally or an enemy to immediately start the cooldown on his passive again. So you could do it for 2 seconds, and if you want to go out of the fight to get heals, or you have your ult ready and you want to use that, you can use the teleport on an ally or an enemy, and then the passive will end and the 70-second cooldown will start over again. Nightcrawler's abilities are all teleports. However, his first one, the close range teleport, will be the only one to actually deal damage, since he is a duelist, so he needs damage somewhere. So his first main ability is the close range teleport, with about the same range as Mr. Fantastic or the Thing's ability, where they pull or jump over to you. Um, but for Nightcrawler, he will obviously, instead of stretching or jumping, he will teleport instead. So you can teleport to an ally, and instead of shield or defense, it will provide them with passive healing for a total of 30 HP. And if they are at max HP, it will not transfer into shields. So it's purely a passive healing, similar to how Mantis's leaves work, but super small scale. And if you were to use this ability on an enemy, you would teleport to them, similar to how you would teleport to your ally, but instead of just appearing beside them, you will actually automatically pierce your enemy for a decent amount of damage. And as this is a primary form of damage, you will have 3 charges with a 2-second cooldown window for use and a 5-second recharge window for the ability itself. So you can actually teleport a decent amount with this ability alone to your allies and to the enemy. And the interesting part of this move actually comes from how you use it and it being able to be comboed, which is where if you use your alt fire up thrust to knock your opponent upward, if you were to teleport to them it midair, instead of piercing with a sword, you will teleport to them and then kick them away and push them back, kind of like Emma's kick ability, but like midair. You push them midair to like fall back away from point or wherever you want them to go, and if they so happen to hit a wall or some structure, that will also add to the damage. Nightcrawler's second ability will be the medium range teleport, that is purely meant to move or evade attacks. So it works nearly identical to Loki's teleport, where for him you will hit the ability once to send out like a marker, like how Loki has the clone marker, but instead of putting a clone down, that's where you would teleport to. So you would have the marker out, and then you would have to hit the ability again to use it. And if you want to get up onto a rooftop, or if you want to make a certain distance ahead of you or away from you, you can use that, and it will have a 15-second cooldown window. And the good thing about this is, if you want to remove the confirmation for the move, you can just switch the ability to be a hold and use, like similar to Emma's shield, where you could just hold it out, to your, like hold your marker out and then just let go of the button when you want to teleport. So that's also an option if you want. For Nightcrawler's final ability, it will be the most crucial, which is his long range teleport ability, which gameplay wise looks pretty similar to Doctor Strange's portal from the perspective of whoever's playing Nightcrawler. However, instead of putting a portal down for people to go through back and forth, whether it be ally or enemy, it will be a one-way jump. So you want to take advantage of this and coordinate with your team when you do plan to use this. When from the perspective of a teammate, when Nightcrawler first activates the ability, a bubble will appear around him, which will indicate that he's going to teleport. And allies, if they want to be a part of the teleport, they will have to walk inside the bubble to teleport with Nightcrawler upon his one-way jump. So if you happen to miss the bubble, then whoop-de-doo, you missed your chance. You can't get back into the battle or whatever he uses, whatever the Nightcrawler uses the ability for. Well, you missed it. So that's his long range teleport ability. The problem is there may be griefing. So I thought a simple fix could just be having an invisible barrier that blocks the Nightcrawler from going over onto kill zones, so that he can't just like teleport you off the map and kill you, because that would be dumb. So invisible wall for that. The ability will have a 110-second cooldown, which is pretty big, but less than Doctor Strange's portal, so it will come back faster. I wanted to implement maybe like an anti-teleport, like for enemies, where like a smaller bubble would form around Nightcrawler that would appear around him if he presses a certain key or button to switch to like an enemy teleport, where any enemies like incidentally in the bubble when Nightcrawler inevitably teleports them away from objective or off the map will be teleported to their doom, if they are in the bubble. The only thing is, implementing this I don't think it would be necessary, and the ally long range obviously works perfectly fine on its own, but there if they wanted to, they could add like an option to like grief your enemy team, I guess, like promote griefing but for your team, not on your team, for them, against like on the enemy team, you know what I'm saying? So that could be an option, but obviously I don't think it's necessary. I think the ally TP works perfectly fine on its own. Now that his base moves and abilities are done, let's look to his ultimate ability, where I kind of struggled a bit to find what would really capture his ability, but in a major way, So his next bit may be a bit underwhelming. I don't know. We'll see. So for his ultimate ability, I thought obviously it's got to be teleporting. But he already does a lot of teleporting. So how do I elevate that? So I thought just make him teleport a lot on a certain opponent. So it will consist of him locking onto a single target for his ult for major damage. So it will look sort of similar to Psylocke's ult, with Kurt teleporting all around the target, slashing and spinning into attacks, teleporting here, teleporting there. He's attacking the enemy. The enemy can't attack back, by the way. Um, it's like a one-way attack, ult ability attack on whichever target you chose. Um, and once he ults, a third sword will also appear held by his tail for the emphasis on the emphasis on increased damage. So his ult will kill any strategist or duelist not actively being healed or getting HP or shield um, during the ult, and then any tank will lose like a majority of their HP from the solo ult. And although he may be targeting a single opponent, any opponents within a radius around the targeted enemy may be hit with a couple attacks from the sword. So basically, what you can envision is like this is sort of like a storm ult, but on a single person. So it'll like deal the most damage on a single person in the center of it, but then like people like in the outside target area may take some damage here and there as well from just the stray slashes and spins of the sword, you know? Okay, so I completely forgot to go over what would happen if you happen to kill the target. So if you kill them, um, there's going to be a certain radius where Nightcrawler will just go to the next person at random. So if like let's say the strategist dies, the other strategist will probably get targeted if they're right by, or it'll be the duelist or whoever's like the closest. But there's a certain like range where it just won't, you just won't go to them, and the ult will just end right there. That's all I had to come up with for Nightcrawler. Feel free to criticize the concept, since technically I am less informed than most or major Nightcrawler comic readers. But I did this just for the fun of it, because I love Rivals. Um, Nightcrawler's cool, and I wanted to come up with a concept for him. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Be sure to drop a like if you enjoyed it, so I can know to make more concepts. Since as of now I have nothing more planned concept wise. Um, I would enjoy making more concepts, but right now I'm not really planning on it. But if this video gets enough support, I'll be sure to get on that. So my typical stupid Marvel Rivals content is due to continue. So if you enjoy gameplay, be sure to check those out. I appreciate any of you who made it to the end, and I thank you for watching. Sweet dreams and good night.